Hello and welcome to Homescreen. I'm Joe Colchester, Product Manager on the 11FS Pulse team. Homescreen is brought to you by 11FS Pulse, our collection of over 4,000 user journeys from banks and fintechs from all over the world. So head over to pulse.11fs.com to request a free demo to see how others are solving their UX challenges. We're delighted to say this is our 100th episode, and it's a real pleasure to have you guys on. And it's going to be a bit of a special today, where we're going to run through two onboarding journeys, Wise and Revolut, both very good products. They're rated very highly in Pulse, and we're just going to onboard live on the show and kind of see our reaction to them, and also rate them on their utility, usability, and visual design, which are our metrics in Pulse. So we're going to start with Will and Wise.
Straight away we're hit with a carousel of reminders of why I downloaded it. It's really nice when they actually animate between each other and there's a consistent element like you see with the globe, because that's obviously core to their brand, and it makes these feel a little bit less like someone's just showing you a series of cards and asking you if you understand the information, which typically my response would be, please stop showing me those cards.
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay, I just did the Google Connect. They've told me that they've changed their name to Wise.
Yes, very important rebranding. Kind of stepping away from that, we're not just about international transfers, which of course they're not. I think it's gone down pretty well.
I'm going to say that sounds good. I think we've all agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've landed into the product. I like the fact that you are effectively placed straight in there if you go with the Google sign up. I know we could have gone down the email address sign up route, but
well, it's actually interesting that this is a new approach that a lot of fintechs are taking, where they only ask for things when you really need them. We had the guy from Zelf on, and he was saying, no, only ask people for their ID if they're sending a certain amount of money that requires it. I think a Cash App do a similar thing as well. So you're into the platform very quickly, and then only when you need the card or you need to send money or that kind of thing do you follow up with further details. So fair play from Wise there.
I'm going to go ahead and order my card.
Yeah, let's do it.
Which, nicely, is the clear call to action here.
Very prominent there. £5 if you're happy with that.
I don't know if I am. I think I'm going to need to read a little bit more. It wasn't in the script, was it? I think that's a bit of a surprise coming into here. Okay, I'm going to assume that they've done a bit of testing on the price point of this. Most people are happy with £5. I think it's sort of the limit for what you'd ask someone if they owed you money. You wouldn't go below a £5, would you? So
no. That's
kind of a good guide. Very interesting to see what happens here, but laying out the steps up front I think is really, really good.
Yeah.
Let's see what's hidden behind here.
Expectations.
So that kind of preps you for exactly what you need to provide. Okay. They're asking for a lot up front here. So,
is it unusual to go with the full legal first and middle name all in one field?
I think if they are cross-referencing it with specific identification, then it makes it easier to cross-reference, as that's how it's normally laid out on passports and driving licenses.
Yeah.
Now that felt a lot up front, and this is telling me that potentially there are quite a few steps to this, because if this was all it needed, you'd probably lay this out in a very simple journey that automatically has your keyboard out. It takes you through step by step where you're entering one thing at a time, which we know is sometimes popular, and this is kind of a warning sign that I'm going to need to give a lot more information, but let's find out. Okay, they've sent me a text message.
And that auto-filled, did it?
It auto-filled.
Kind of did a weird jump back though as it auto-filled though.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. Certainly speeded up the process, but it was a bit jarring potentially.
They're asking for my delivery address now, which, curiously, I now have to enter again.
Yeah.
No option for same as home address.
No, and I think anyone that's ordered anything online, which is all of us, pretty much assume that that is a given to be able to tick that.
So quite a slow start to the KYC perhaps.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's made slightly slower because I don't know if anyone watching this has ever tried to fill in a form while two people are watching you, but you're going to make mistakes. Interesting. I like this. So choose how your name appears. Again, we have the little characters giving the card a facelift.
I think you go with a name that just isn't yours. I think you go for Andrew Jones. Because it's not your name.
Sure.
That's the pressure of the onlookers.
I think it is.
Will Jones, fair enough.
I'm not going to do that just because maybe I'll use this one day, but sorry to ruin the fun. Okay, choosing a pin. Now again, it would save me a tap here if the keyboard was already out. So
it's quite an unusual experience, isn't it?
It is an unusual experience. Obviously entering it twice.
That's a nice effect.
Requirement. I really like the way the card turned on there. It's effectively giving me a summary of my order. This is where I have to pay for the card. I'm now going to commit to paying £5 in the interest of UX research. You paid for your card. I can't help feeling like there's a lack of celebration here.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you think everything needs to be celebrated? Do you think there's too much confetti these days in finance apps?
Potentially, but this goes the other way. This is a big tick.
Is it big enough?
I don't think it's big enough. I
no,
think
we
it's
could definitely make that tick louder, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to press continue because maybe that's where the confetti happens. It's not. But, look, here are a couple of people just making my card happen.
It's very jovial, isn't it?
Confusingly, you haven't finished your card order.
That is confusing, isn't it? It's returned me to this screen without really much instruction there. I've effectively just paid for it. Let's have a see what I need to do next. Okay.
That is a bit odd, yeah.
That is a bit odd. I mean, we talked about breaking up an onboarding journey, but at that point, is it jarring? Because I'm still probably not going to do anything in the app. I've committed to trying to get a card at that point.
You could have quite easily put your phone away after that large tick.
I could have quite easily missed that.
Makes sense that there was a lack of celebration, though.
Yeah. I mean, it would be quite annoying at that point if I'm then waiting for my card and it doesn't come.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not the same as when I try and order a Deliveroo, don't realise that it hasn't gone through, and then check the phone an hour later very hungry, but I can live with this. All right, upload proof of your identity. Interesting. There's nothing pre-filled at this point, or suggested.
Yeah.
United Kingdom. Ooh.
Didn't go through.
Didn't go through.
There it is.
There we are. Slightly odd message that's jumped up here in the middle of the screen. You expect these drawers to kind of cover the whole thing. Perhaps it's supposed to be at the bottom. I'm going to upload a driving license. Now we require a couple of things here, and interestingly they're trying this in just a single screen rather than a staged approach like I know I've seen from some other onboarding journeys. I'm going to allow it to take a photo. Everyone gets to see this image of me if we don't blur it out.
No,
there we are. Take a moment to look over your photo, make sure the details are clear, no blur, so it's not really checking that for me. Oh, it is. I stand corrected. There's an automatic check that will help our team verify you faster. Okay, something's not right. Hasn't quite said what, so let's have a little look.
Slightly out of frame, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Sometimes you get a kind of frame checker, I think.
You do, you get sort of a red and green outline, which, while quite basic, does help me make the mistakes that we're all having to suffer right now. Okay.
Although you got it wrong, I don't know how, but it was quite quick to feedback and say, let's do that one again. And you can get kind of stuck in this loop where you don't really know what's going on.
Or worse, it's not checked in real time. I'm told later in the day when sort of a human person at the other end has gone, okay, I can't read that. Right, let's continue. Documents have been uploaded. Someone from our team will check them over. If they're good to go, your account will be ready in about 2 working days. Vague there, but it at least gives some indication of when I'll be able to use it.
Interesting as well, they're referring to the account and not just the card in the card ordering journey.
That is interesting.
There's no sort of notification so far that the account wasn't ready when you opened it.
It's true. Because my understanding of Wise is that you do not need a card to send money. So, okay.
Hold on.
Hold on. Add money. Congrats, you're all done. You can see the status of your card. Make sure the card is ready to go by adding money. I will do that later.
And there we are.
There we are.
And the finish your card order remains. I guess if we just tap that, that might just give you an update of, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So there we have it.
Interesting though, that flow is still available.
Yeah.
I didn't get a moment of celebration. I've just handed over £5 for what's quite a bright, attractive card. I want more.
You want more?
I want more.
More confetti.
I think so.
All right.
Well, having seen that now, utility, usability and visual design on your end. We can do one each.
You go first.
Utility. 3, I think. It wasn't bad. I think the amount of information that it required was no more than you would expect. But I think the way in which it was quite fragmented and the fact that we got kind of placed back at the start of the journey in order to complete the journey just didn't feel right. It felt quite fractured.
Yeah.
I think 3 is quite harsh. It depends what it depends what we're comparing it to. If you compare it to going into a branch and opening it up, it's like an instant 5. But I quite liked the fact that I got in quite quickly with just connecting with my Google account, and I quite liked that ordering the card was effectively, it worked.
Yeah.
There were a few mistakes in it where I felt like it was overly harsh on my lack of ability to take a correct photo of a driving licence, but without a lot of feedback there either. It was straight into usability there.
Yeah.
It worked, but I'd probably give it a 4.
Yeah, I think I agree with 4. I think that there's quite a lot of functionality there. Whether it's executed well enough, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'd say a 4 as well on utility. Moving on to usability now.
I mean, other than the few seconds and different takes it took to take the picture, I think it was all fairly usable.
Yeah.
Give that 4.
Fair enough.
I'm going to go for 3. I think the benchmark is quite high in these journeys, and actually there were several points where it wasn't exactly clear what was happening, what to do.
Yeah.
The address, I think that's a thing that needs fixing in this, being able to copy that over.
Yeah.
Because it's more than likely that one is going to be the same as the other, or at least have the option to do that. So,
yeah.
I think there were another few sort of points where I'm not entirely sure why it's still showing me this, and it makes me feel like there's more to do.
Yeah.
And I had to click through again to find out that there wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be super harsh. I think it's so close to being really good, but I think because other...
Well, 3 is not bad. 3 is kind of industry standard, and that goes across the incumbents as well. So you know, does bring it down a bit.
Let's go industry standard, but it's only like a couple of fixes away from being right up there.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 again, not just copying you because you're head of design. I think it's a 3. I really like the way it started. I like the way you kind of just jump into the dashboard, and you can kind of navigate from there and use the app how you want to, and put in details based on that. But there were just too many things. You pointed most of them out. The KYC was just a bit clunky. It's quite an easy thing to get right now, I think. Just those initial fields and that kind of the auto suggestions, the pre-filling. I think that's pretty standard. But there were some good moments too. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. And then finally, visual design.
I'm going to give a 4 for visual design. I think there were some parts of it that had lovely, smooth animations, and other parts where they definitely should have had animations that would have been more applicable, and they didn't have that and celebrate that little moment. Yeah. I think, you know, through the forms and things, it seems to work well. The right focus states, right completed states, etc., seem to work. Yeah, I think as well the sort of person animation, the characters, is something that we're seeing like quite common now. So for just the fact that that's quite ubiquitous with design and fintech, that I'm not going to overly celebrate that one.
Yeah, fair enough.
So 4.
4. 4's good.
Just to complete a clean sweep of disagreeing with Ali, I'm going to say 5.
Okay.
It's got a tight design language. I really felt like there wasn't anything I'd particularly change going through. I know we're probably going to talk about delight factor next, so that's some of the things that I think it could have done more of. But honestly, I felt like it was minimal without being like unbranded. Yeah. And it came in the right moment. So yeah, I wouldn't fault it too much.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm going to go with 4 on usability. Sorry, on visual design. There were some really great moments, but elements. There were some quite bland moments as well, which maybe that's to aid the usability. Just kind of black background. Let's get on with it. No need for distractions. But it wasn't a especially visually appealing flow, especially from from Wise. They really do deliver on that front, and it's not particularly emphasised in this journey, I don't think. And then a delight factor, I think we all agreed that there's at least 1 there from that card.
Yeah, I think so.
Any more to add?
Just there were elements in which there could have been a bit more, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see some more micro interactions.
Okay.
I want to see something a bit clever where a designer's got carried away. Yeah. And I know they're never the things that come into the first version of an app, but I think in future versions of this, we'll see someone that's been allowed to sneak something in, which you tap a button and it does something that's entirely unnecessary.
Fair enough. It's definitely missing that element. Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Revolut onboarding journey.
We're straight in. We've got really nice, really immersive kind of loading animations here telling us about the product. So we're telling us we can get a card, security settings that we can control. No login with third parties on this one, just log in or sign up. So we will sign up.
Okay.
Just adding a phone number there, which is good. Keyboard came straight up, suggesting the number from my phone, which was really good and helpful. Continue with that. 6-digit code coming in, telling us that there's a countdown, that they'll resend the code. Unlike the last journey, I actually need to type this one in. And pre-filled country of residence, it obviously knows where I have downloaded the app from in terms of store location, which is excellent.
So it's little affordances that just makes this quicker.
And then
so now, entering the postcode, how manual a process will this be in terms of looking for my address?
There it is.
I have the longest list of addresses in London for one postcode, I think, so let's quite scroll down to there. But it also pre-fills that within the home address, which is nice. And again, it's asking for my legal first name and my legal last name, no middle name being required here. And they seem to be using the material design form patterns, which are really nice and fairly standard. Asking for my date of birth. And then my email address with an option to keep me up to date with Revolut offers, products and services.
All very nice and quick so far.
Yeah, it is. I haven't had anything to say.
No.
Do you think this is the right point to ask for that?
The email address is perhaps. I guess at what point does it feel natural? We're kind of getting to know basic information about you. They've asked for a phone number and address.
Yeah.
I think it might feel slightly detached if it was anywhere else.
I meant more the signing up for them spamming you.
Before I've even signed up for an account.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, a bit preemptive, perhaps.
Quite opportunistic. I mean, I dove right in.
Yeah. I mean, when else would you do it? It just feels like an extra point of friction. But I suppose when you have such a simple journey, you can get away with throwing the odd thing that's beneficial to the company in there.
That's it. They're asking me to take a selfie as the next part, which is good. So I don't need to worry about how I look. I always love being told that. Find good lighting, so face is visibly clear. Production studio is quite good for that. And don't smile. Remove anything obscuring my face, so glasses, hats, scarves, etc.
Interesting bit of copywriting here. Our bots will love you unconditionally, which...
I mean, even if you did have Face ID, normally that's already preloaded, so you don't have to re-establish that.
Okay, so that's it.
Nice use of the green outline there, just to confirm it's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
My selfie is clear. Oh, I can find my friends on this, which allows me to split bills easily. And I'm guessing this is if anyone else is on Revolut, they'll be automatically added to beneficiary lists, etc. That's certainly the implication here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not unnatural to ask for access to your friend list at this point. Does it benefit you or does it benefit Revolut at this point?
It's one of those things, if you use the feature, you're more likely to use Revolut more if your friends have got if everyone's kind of Revoluting each other, not that that kind of slips off the tongue. Yeah. But it's certainly, I think, it's a beneficial feature, and it's good that they ask for access rather than just assuming if that's even permitted.
But anyway, we're not going to do that just now. I was asking for my main reason to use Revolut. They need to know this for regulatory reasons, and they're also curious.
Okay.
Which is good.
Well, I'd love to know, because Revolut, I'm not calling it a bloated product, but it could be if there isn't some prioritization based on what you want to get out of it.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in there, which is great, but hopefully that's why they're asking this as well.
I'm going to answer honestly and say spend while travelling. It's asking me to create a passcode, which is simple. Keyboard already up already, and confirming the passcode once again. Very simple. No continue buttons or anything there. The minute we had 4 in, it just allowed us to do it.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through fingerprint recognition just now.
I think we know what that looks like.
We do. Now, this is pulled through automatically, the proof of residency, from the fact that I said that I was British. So it is making a quite common assumption that I am living in the UK, based on the address as well. So I guess it's not an assumption. They have my address. I'm going to go for the driving licence. And again, we have a bit through where we get to scan the licence. The glare is detected, so it's asking me to move away from direct light, which is good. It's giving tips.
Yeah, that's a nice, I think it's an FIDO function.
But again, earlier we had the selfie, the green and red lines for when I was up within frame. We don't have that here.
Okay. Would you prefer to a bit of consistency there then?
I think so, but it looks like they're using a third-party integration, so that might be out with their control. Quite clear that we're now taking a picture of the back of the licence and that wasn't rejected, which is useful.
If we compare this to the sort of Wise journey as well, this isn't trying to handle it over one screen.
You
do this right, you repeat the action well.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Agreed. It's a lot more contextual information. License is legible, in my opinion. Let's see if they agree. This is nice. There's obviously a bit where they send this off for it to be verified. And it hasn't told me whether or not it was, but we're making the assumption that it was accepted.
Yeah.
It turns out you're in.
I'm in. What do I want this for? We've got a number of offerings. They're pushing their most expensive ultimate experience first. They have the everyday benefits. The copywriting and iconography here all seems very easy to understand. They're quite succinct about the way that they put things. And clear from selecting it as well. The actual CTA tells you the monthly cost, so it's impossible to not know how much these are.
Is there almost too much listed on this?
I think there might be.
We see always like those classic tricks of when you're signing up to, say, insurance or something like that, where you see the different plans stacked against each other and compared. Very hard to do on a mobile device because you don't have too much space. But I think there's a lot of reading to do to find out potentially what you get with Metal or Premium ahead of Plus or Standard.
And there's a lot of options, really, isn't there? Metal, Premium, Plus, Standard.
It seems like there's a bit of duplication here as well. Like there's quite a few things that are covered in one and also covered in others, which you almost could say, you know, it's Premium. Sorry, Metal could be the same as Premium Plus. that would condense that into it. But I know it's harder on mobile in order to do that.
It's also interesting, by defaulting to metal, you have to show everything first.
Yeah.
So you see what you're missing out
So
on.
the gamble there is, presumably the pattern is saying more people will sign up to metal if we show it first. Let's not make it clearer what the difference is.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, and presumably that's been tested lots. There's something to learn. I love all the videos. I think that this is the moment to like dial up the brand.
Yes.
You are trying to sell someone something, and you're trying to make them feel emotive. Like you're trying to make it emotive to connect with them beyond just a list of features.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's why standard is just a little aeroplane.
It is.
No animation.
It is.
Yeah, I would say that Revolut as a user, and having watched quite a few of their onboardings, they are really good at upselling, and it doesn't annoy you, despite how often they do it. It's always accompanied by a nice animation or some features, and it's easy to dismiss, and you're not being taken down a wrong route. So they've obviously kind of kept researching and kept driving, kind of going down that route. So I guess that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Do you feel obliged to pick one here, or is there an option?
I can, not now, select a plan. It'll be interesting to see where that takes us.
It's not obvious, is it?
It's not obvious. This is where they've given me a virtual card, and I've passed my verification, which is great. So having a virtual card, I can start spending right away, and I can add this to Google Pay to easily make purchases. It's interesting to know, like my assumption is that this is attached to a standard plan.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know that this hasn't auto-selected that for me.
Yeah, or there's no indication about that.
Oh, the two feel quite disconnected, don't they?
They do.
And I think a lot of like apps and services that you could get a physical card for but don't require it, often like terminology between card and account is really mixed.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to get right for users to understand.
Definitely. We're not going to add this to Google Pages now, but we can order a physical card, and I think in the interest of comparing the journeys, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So let's order our Revolut card. Now we have a number of choices here.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
like
is
this.
absolutely lovely.
I mean, we probably said this about cover flow back in the 2000s.
It is a carbon copy, isn't it, of
It's actually gone
Cover flow.
better than I saw it.
Now I can get a metal card was sold as part of the metal benefits.
Yeah.
Initially, in fact, it was their hero benefit in getting a nice shiny metal card.
Yeah.
I can get an 18-gram metal card here in my
Do you fancy it?
free plan. I don't not fancy it, Colch. I think.
Given the animation, given the effect there.
Yeah, so I can get plus. This has got a flashy magenta finish, which you can see if we just slowly pull it to one side.
Let's not get carried away with that.
This is one of those interactions, though, that you are going to get carried away with.
It really is. And this is they're upselling again here. They're giving you the option of selecting cards, but they've got them kind of locked against premium plans. So if I wanted this premium space grey or this lovely rose gold, I can get rose gold for free actually. But no, I actually can't. Premium plan required.
It's very small there.
Very small.
The type
plan.
hierarchy is hidden that. Something very Apple about this as well.
Yeah.
They know the colours that Apple have told people are premium, and therefore we can get a Union Jack on it if you so wish.
I don't think that's my personal brand, personally.
No.
No. And staunch Revolut card, I think I'll pass. I'm going to go for this lovely black metal one. Or I was, because I've now seen that the metal plan is required.
Yeah.
That is hidden away.
Get metal for free. Interesting.
I can't get that for free because...
Is it the card's free and then the account's not?
I don't like that. I feel duped.
I think they found a couple of ways here to try and upsell you.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all. I think I'm kind of hamstrung and have to go for the standard free.
Oh, okay. So that was actually the button state that was inactive.
Oh, it was inactive. Oh, it is inactive. It doesn't feel inactive.
It doesn't feel inactive. It feels like the button has just become more premium.
It does. It does.
I think the text needs to be knocked back slightly on that.
I think it does. You're right. And there definitely needs to be more of an emphasis on the plan associated with the card, because I spent a good 30 seconds talking about the fact I could get a metal card when I couldn't.
Do you feel disappointed now?
Yeah, I feel Betrayed, really.
Just crushed.
Yeah.
So it's standard it is then?
It is. I have to create a pin.
Haven't you already made a pin? Was that for your password entry?
I made a passcode.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Which, yeah.
Again, a lot of people will misunderstand that.
Mm-hmm. They will. Delivery address is also filled from my residential address, which is great. I would like it delivered there. I'll confirm that. And I have a delivery date, which has costs, which is quite confusing, rather than delivery method or pricing of delivery. All of this seems high, but they're giving me express delivery for free if I upgrade to a premium plan, which they've auto-filled.
Oh, that's...
See, it is getting a bit
Is that a dark UX pattern?
I think it's approaching that.
I think it is.
And then the other thing about that is, within the premium plan, I could have had a better card. I didn't want that.
So now you're actually getting quite, I can see it, quite visibly annoyed.
It's getting quite rich.
Yeah.
It's £17 to get this card delivered to me.
Let's go standard then.
Let's go standard. I also had the option to say I didn't need a physical card, which is clearly out of a reaction to people realising they have to pay a £5 to get their card and go. Not having that.
Well, £4.99. This is a penny less than Wise.
Now I can add money already to my card, so it comes preloaded, which is interesting. And again, they have done this for me and instantly said that they would like me to have a tenner added onto it.
Is there an option to dismiss?
There is other. There is also not now.
Okay,
now
that's fair.
It is fair, but I also feel like most wouldn't want that. Now, not now. Within the checkout, I feel like I should be paying for my delivery with this. But if I say not now, does that pull me out of the checkout altogether?
Let's find out. It certainly doesn't feel like progress through the journey you've made.
And you're in.
I have not ordered my card.
Oh, you have?
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No celebration there.
It's under actions, so I still haven't paid for it, which is interesting.
I think that's fair. Like you need to pay for it.
I think the fact that it didn't allow me to not add any money to it without saying not now.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Seemed.
Again, we're left in a state where we're not quite sure what happens next.
That's it.
And I think a lot of people could walk away at this point and hope for a card to arrive.
Much like the payment and tick screen on Wise, I would have left it at that point and just never received a card.
I mean, are we just sitting here thinking there should be more, like, not confetti, but whatever the cool Revolut version of confetti is, because we love that stuff? Or
I actually think it's just clarity. I think I need a bit more clarity from
I know
the product here.
I do know what you mean, but I think they really push as people, and I think it's the same with the Monzo onboarding, or at least it used to be, where it's like, we need to get you topped up and using this card. There's no point in you just not using it. To kind of fully onboard you, like here's your virtual card, your real card's coming, and you've got money on it. Let's get on with it.
That's true.
So I don't like the state you're in right now. I'm with you on that, but also I can kind of see the urging to kind of push you down a certain direction, which is ultimately why you need the card. You've already said you're using it for, wasn't it, taking money out internationally or
foreign travel.
Foreign travel, So I think it's kind of presumed that you're going to start to use it.
Also, I think the investment you've made in it has been pretty stress-free to this point.
Yeah.
So actually, until you've paid money for the card or put money on it, you are window shopping still. You're just trying to have a look around the app.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to complete the card process, and I'm going to try and not load it with any money. The minimum amount is £10, so I literally cannot get a Revolut account without spending £15, by the look of it, with a physical card.
Do you pay for your card out of this amount?
That is interesting to know, and no, I do not. There's £10 loaded onto the card when it arrives. But the card itself costs £5 to deliver.
Very interesting.
But I mean, that is made clear here, I think, at the checkout.
It is. But I think the copy, when you're going through selecting the standard plan, the implication that this is free to set up.
Yeah.
And you've come through in order to get a physical card and you've spent £15.
Yeah.
Is.
Do you think, though, that it's fair to assume that someone's going to want to spend money with a bank?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're sitting here with loads of accounts otherwise that we've had to set up for this purpose.
Yes.
It's frustrating for us. I think the average person, they've loved the look of Revolut, they've come in here, they plan to use it. Is it that bad?
I'm going to stop being tight and I'm going to buy this card.
I think you should.
I think that's fair. Hooray, there we go. There's a bit of celebration there, which we don't have on video because we missed that card.
Bugger.
That's nice.
So there was a little moment of celebration that we slightly missed out on because we couldn't record the Google Pay, but it is instantly added asking me if I want to top up more, as if I got the hit from the £10 and I want another one.
Greedy Revolut.
Really after it. So no, they're not getting that.
This is quite a sad little stack of coins, isn't it?
It is. Silvers as well.
I know.
Not even pounds. I don't know what that coin is. Not now. Our card is ready. We can use it to make contactless payments, pay online through Google Pay. We're not going to do that now, but we now have a card with some card details. And if we go through into the app, we are up and running.
Okay then, so let's run through the ratings then. Will, do you want to start us on utility?
Yes. Utility. I thought it was good. I think they've got the right partners to handle the bits that should be done right. They've sort of pre-filled a load of things. I know we're straying into usability here, but you could get it done. I think, sure, there's slightly too many card things going on, and then there's possibly a simplified version of landing into there that would have been easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4 or a 5 for me.
Fair enough. Can we get, is that ooh, sorry, just confirmation on that.
Am I allowed a half?
I think we can give it, for the special, we can give you a half, yeah.
I'll go 4.5.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4. I think it was all relatively straightforward until we got to that area around the cards, and I think the cards, well, no one can say that it did overpromise or promise things that it didn't do. It was unclear, and I did feel it was trying to lure me into plans that I didn't want at that point. So
fair enough.
You're still annoyed, aren't you?
Visibly raging.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to give it a 5 for utility. I think it's got a, you get started with a virtual card very quickly. You can add that to Google Pay. You've got a hell of a lot of features at your fingertips in about 5 minutes. So I think it's hard not to give Revolut a 5 for their onboarding, I think. But we'll move on to usability.
Usability, I'm going to go with 4. I think right up until the point where you had to order a card and put money on it, I could not fault it. And it was even better than I thought it was going to be, or was possible to be. So many things pre-filled. There wasn't a point where you were left going, oh, what's required of me here, or what's gone wrong, or anything like that. Like even the moments of feedback when you're doing something quite complicated, like taking a photo of the driving license, it's handled very, very well.
Yeah, likewise. I think until we got to that point, it was faultless. Once we got to that point and they started offering the plans and a lot of the features within that, I think it could have been slightly clearer what things were attached to which cards. I almost selected cards that I wasn't eligible for based on the plan I'd selected previously. And I think as well that just that last element when ordering a card, leaving the checkout and not realising or not being explicit enough that journey wasn't complete.
So that's just to confirm it's
a 4.
4 stars. Okay. I think I'm going to go 4 as well. I think it started exceptionally well, and then perhaps we went on a bit of a kind of niche journey there, but it just felt a bit pushy at some points, and I think that pushiness verged into confusion. But overall, I think it's pretty simple and easy to get through that. So I think it's a high 4, but perhaps lost a bit there. And then finally, visual design.
After you.
To start this one.
I think it's gorgeous. I think there's so much of the design system, especially the visual design touches, iconography, pictograms, the elements around the cards and the way that they move and things. It elevates the entire experience. Onboarding experiences and sign-ups can be dull it isn't dull.
It
is really actually something that's quite pleasant to go through.
For sure. Yeah. And actually, whilst we got you there, any delight factors?
The cards, absolutely the cards for me were there. And I think there's also little touches as well. They need to have, like, not the need to have, but the fact that they have the videos within there as well. They really sell that aspirational sort of vision behind each of those product plans and what they might be used for.
Yeah.
And really demonstrate some of the product features within that. And I think that's a lovely touch.
Nice.
It's a really solid 5 for me on visual design.
Okay, great. And Will?
Solid 5.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It's almost easier to point out the things that weren't quite a 5.
Yeah.
Overall it was, but then all of the amazing things that Ali's already touched upon. I think interaction language, there was a point where there was a sort of change in the colour of the buttons, like we saw blue consistently was guiding you through the journey. There was a black one, we weren't sure if it was inactive, there was a lot of things going on. Again, it was at that point where we'd been distracted going like this with all the cards, so maybe our brains were addled by that a little bit. But and I think there was, I just don't want to focus on it too much, but there was a very dull stack of coins at one point, and I just want more from that stack of coins.
Yeah. Fair
but
enough.
I'm just picking holes at this point.
Yeah.
Everything, the way that they dialed up the brand in the right places, was great.
Yeah.
I'd love an extra little moment of delight when you've chosen a card, but maybe that's because Ali was cheap and didn't get one of the
That's true.
one of the better.
So is it just the one delight moment for you there? The cards?
No, I think the videos as well,
Okay,
to look at the different types of accounts. I think that was really powerful.
Okay.
It's selling someone a lifestyle that isn't
Okay,
just a card.
Got some high scoring ones here. I'm going to go 5 as well. I think the kind of introductory carousels were lovely, and it's hard to knock that kind of interaction with the card selecting process. That's very, very nice. I think Curve do quite a similar thing, but I think this has just been even more perfected. So it's a 5 there, and the rest of it looks like there's a few things that I think were missing from the last time I onboarded. There was a really nice animation I saw of, you can see where your card is and it's on its way, but it's still a strong 5 for me. And a delight factor, I'd give 1 for the initial KYC steps and how everything just flowed seamlessly. And then I think I'd give another 1 certainly for the cards, not to go on about them. But that's certainly got, so that's 2 for me. So a lot of delight factors there, but not without fault, that journey.
A clear winner then?
Yeah, we've got a clear winner there. We'll have the scores up. Great, well, it's been a pleasure having you guys on, talking about these journeys. Hope you enjoy your new products.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining us and for the last 100 episodes. It's been a real pleasure. We'll see you next time. But just before we wrap up,
our Pulse Pick of the Week goes to Klarna's Carbon Footprint Insights Journey. Users can see their estimated carbon count per week, day, and individual transaction. It's great to see the impacts of our consumption habits, and Klarna does a really good job of surfacing this information whilst providing tips and insights about how we can change our behaviour to reduce emissions.
We're also going to shout out our producer, Hannah, who is unfortunately leaving us. It's been a real pleasure working with her, and we wish her all the best, and thank you so much. Thanks for watching today's show. If you want to see more journeys like this, head over to pulse.11fs.com to find out more and catch up on home screen episodes. Thanks, everyone.